One of the most common questions I get as a mortgage advisor is, what is today's interest rates? What are the current mortgage rates? And I'm betting if you're looking to make a home purchase, you're probably pretty curious about the answer to this question as well. I'm going to show you how you can see what current interest rates are today or any day for that matter. Let me show you how. You want to buy your first home, but maybe you don't have 20% to put down or perfect credit. That's okay. If you're committed to a home purchase, then I'm here to help you do just that. Maybe even sooner than you thought possible. My name is Scott Wynn, and I am a licensed mortgage advisor in Colorado with the Wynn and Egan team at Citywide Home Loans. If you want to buy a home in the next 12 months, then click that subscribe button, and together we'll make it happen. Before I show you where you can find today's current mortgage interest rates, what I'd like to do is just give you a little bit of understanding of how mortgage interest rates work to begin with. See, mortgage interest rates are generally going to vary in 1/8% increments. For example, 2.875, 3%, 3.125, 3.25, and so on. In addition to the 1/8% increments in interest rates, there are also going to be increments between interest rates. And the reason for that is because generally rates don't fall perfectly on those 1/8% rate differences. Instead, what happens is that the rates will fall somewhere in between. So the way to solve that is by either paying points or receiving credits in terms of points. So let me explain what a point is. A point is basically 1% of your loan amount. So what will happen is when you're looking at interest rates in 8% increments, you'll also have points associated with those interest rates. You might be wondering why I'm explaining this. Well, the reason for it is because if I were to just show you what the interest rates were and what the points are associated with that, you may not get the full picture and may end up paying more than you should when it comes down to actually getting the rate that you want for your mortgage. Let's say you go to lender A and you ask for a rate quote on a 30-year fixed mortgage, and they quote you a rate of 2.5%. And now to do your due diligence, you go to lender B. And lender B quotes you on the exact same loan terms a rate of 2.75%. Well, you might be thinking that lender A is actually better than lender B. That's not necessarily the case. And that's where points come in. See, let's just say that lender A at 2.5% interest rate was going to charge you, let's say, 1.5% in points in order to get that interest rate. Whereas lender B at a rate of 2.75% was only going to charge maybe 0.25% in points. So the full picture is really comparing apples to apples in terms of interest rate to interest rate and looking at what the fees are associated with that same interest rate from lender A to lender B. So if we were to look at lender B at the rate of 2.5% and maybe they're only charging 1% in points, then lender B, even though initially looked like it had a higher interest rate, is actually better in comparison to lender A because at the same interest rate of 2.5%, lender B had lower points. And one other quick point I want to show you before we get to the actual interest rates and where to find today's mortgage interest rate. Different loan programs like FHA, VA, USDA, and conventional mortgages are all going to have slightly different interest rates. In addition, rates are going to vary based on your particular qualifications. Things like credit score or down payment or property type are also going to play into the interest rate you'll be able to obtain. So when you're looking online for interest rates, you need to realize that these things are going to play into the actual rate you're going to get. So as you look at those interest rates online, it should be used as just a general indicator as to where interest rates are, but not necessarily what you'll be able to get on your specific situation. Here's where you can find mortgage interest rates for today, or any day for that matter. Visit Freddie Mac's rate survey at freddiemac.com/PMMS. On this site, you'll find average interest rates based on a survey that they complete on 30-year fixed mortgages, 15-year fixed mortgages, and 5/1 adjustable rate mortgages. They've been collecting this data since 1971, so you can see historical information as well as just today's interest rates as well. Freddie Mac surveys a variety of mortgage lenders, including credit unions, banks, mortgage lenders, and so on. So you get a true assessment of what the overall market is quoting. The thing to keep in mind is that these interest rates that they're quoting here and surveying to get the average is based off of a conventional loan, first lien with a 20% down payment or an 80% loan to value. One particular part that is not necessarily disclosed on this site is what credit score was used when quoting these interest rates. So my suggestion is that we assume that the interest rate is based off of the highest qualifying credit score possible. So now what? You have access to this particular site at any time you want to check out and see where interest rates are in general and what the points are associated with that interest rate. Now that's good for a general indicator of what the market is doing, but it's not very good when it comes to your specific situation with your credit score, your debt to income ratio, your loan program like FHA or conventional financing. So that's where a mortgage advisor is going to help you in really identifying the best loan program for you, as well as what the interest rates are for your particular situation. With the information in this video associated with interest rates and the points associated with those interest rates, you'll be better able to understand what you're being told when it comes to the interest rates being quoted. I'll be recording a video in the near future talking about how to shop for a loan and how to compare from one lender to another, part of which is including, of course, interest rates and points. So if you're not already subscribed, I would encourage you to do that so you'll be alerted when that time comes and that video is available for you to check it out. Did I answer the question you came looking for? If not, leave your question in the comments below and I'll be sure to reply. And if you found the info helpful, I'd love a click on that like button. If you're serious about making your first home purchase, then I've got a ton of great info for you to help make that possible. Check out these other videos as you work towards buying a home. Or you can call or text me and I can help you directly.